All right, this is Jamie J. We are going to be talking with Ashlee Berghoff today, and we're going to be talking about how to delegate effectively. Ashlee is the founder and CEO of A Squared Online LLC, and I'm really excited about this conversation, as you can probably imagine. So we'll be back in about 38 seconds with a wonderful conversation, and I will let you know how Ashlee will help stop the bottleneck in your business. So we'll talk to you here in just a second. Hello. My name is Jamie J. I am the CEO and founder of Bottleneck Distant Assistance, but that's not why we're here today. We are here today to talk to Ashlee Berghoff. And as you may or may not know, if you're tuning in for the first time, bear with me because I'm on my laptop today. We're dealing with all kinds of challenges, but that's the fun part about challenges, is overcoming them. And so I'm going to be talking with Ashlee Berghoff today, and she is going to help stop the bottleneck in your business. We are going to be talking about how to delegate effectively, and this is an incredibly important topic to me. I know it's incredibly important to Ashlee. She's the founder and CEO of A Squared Online LLC. And why is Ashlee qualified to talk about this particular topic? Well, she's an MBA, and she's a founder of A Squared Online. Her team of systems strategists turn creative entrepreneurs into CEOs by helping them take clear and focused action, implement time-saving systems, and delegate effectively. Wow, I'm already in love with this bio. As her clients become more effective and productive, they can cut out the noise, experience real momentum, and confidently channel their time and energy into things that matter most to them. Ashlee is the author of Eureka Results, How Entrepreneurs Can Turn Their Best Ideas into Reality, which will be published by New Degree Press in April of 2021. Woo! She has been featured on the Copywriter Club Podcast, Reigniting Main Street, and Copy Chief Radio. So without any further ado, please allow me to introduce you to Ashlee Berghoff. How are you, Ashlee?
Hi, it's so great to be here. Thank you so much. And I apologize. I thought my camera was getting better, but it's getting worse. So
maybe you can if you put your hand over it real fast, that might help. And let's see if that helps. Oh, there it goes. The magic of technology. Well, I am super thankful, first of all, for you taking the time to do this, because I know you have a couple things on your plate right now. Well, before we kind of jump into this, how to delegate effectively, I wonder if maybe you can tell us a little bit more about who you are and your background. I know what it is, and that's why I'm so pumped to share this with everyone. But yeah, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah. So I started A Squared in 2017. Was working full-time in project management and operations in the corporate space, and really wanted to build something of my own and have the flexibility to mold my career around the needs of my family as it grew and changed. And so that's why I started A Squared. I started out as an individual kind of independent business manager for entrepreneurs, so working directly with them to run their businesses. And over time began to really specialize and focus on the strategy piece of that, helping them learn how to use systems, learn how to build their team, and to kind of take ownership over their time in their businesses, because I saw so much overwhelm and frustration and stress in the lives of entrepreneurs. So that's what we're focusing on now. Really passionate about that. I have an 18-month-old daughter, so definitely living the life of juggling those things as all of my clients do, and it's been great.
Well, that's fantastic. I don't know if my audio sounds better. I forgot to plug in my audio, so hopefully it sounds a little bit better. It's not painful on your ears there. Thank you so much for the backup and backup story there. So you have an 18-month-old. How is that and working?
The one thing I have learned is that I think before I had her, Avery, my daughter, I really thought that we would have a conversation. We would decide how we were going to juggle me having a business and taking care of her and wanting to be really, minimal on the amount of childcare we needed and things like that. And we thought we would have that conversation, make the decision, and that would be the decision, right? But we've had 4 different, setups in terms of balancing those things, and it will continue to change and grow. And, it's been really good for me because I am very type A. I can have workaholic tendencies, so it really curtails that pretty well. She keeps me grounded, and I'm so grateful to have the ability to make those decisions for our family, to decide when we're working, how I'm working, what kind of childcare she needs, and those sorts of things. And so it's tricky, but it's been good.
Well, at least you have a good background in systems and processes, and I'm sure. And you know what? I'm a huge advocate of life balance, not work-life balance. And I think, in my humble opinion, there is a huge difference between working and life, especially with the onset of COVID. As of the time of this recording, I'd say we're still in COVID. Would you say we're still?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Before we jump into the art of delegation or delegating effectively, what do you believe in the power of systems and processes and workflow? Because I think that's kind of a precursor to delegating effectively, in my opinion. Maybe I'm off, but
yeah, I love that question. So the whole idea in my book is that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially creative entrepreneurs, but anyone, we love new ideas. We're inspired by really exciting ideas, aha moments that we have in the shower. Oh my gosh, I want to do this. We're listening to podcasts, we're taking courses, we're just piling up ideas in our minds of things we want to do, which is great. But then it can be a challenge to turn that into reality, to actually make that happen. And so one of my missions for our business is to really redefine what systems are in the context of our best ideas and in the context of that journey to actually turning our ideas into reality. Because I think we tend to think of systems as a checklist or a process and procedure manual, or someone telling me I need an SOP for this or that. And it becomes very technical and very frustrating and can feel constraining. Or we've had experiences, especially in previous corporate jobs, where systems and processes were a waste of time and just came from the top and didn't do any good for anything. So I wanted to redefine what systems are, away from that and towards just the structure that makes things happen, right? We're constantly surrounded by systems. If you think about the way we use the word, right? There's belief systems and computer systems and interstate systems, right? Everything we do is impacted by a system. This computer is a system. The architecture of the room around me is a system. Brushing my teeth this morning was a system, right? And when we think about the fact that we're surrounded by systems all the time, then it becomes an interesting journey of learning how to harness them, because we recognize how powerful they are. We recognize what impact they have on what actually happens. Like, really, it's the system that decides what happens, not so much what we want, until it gets baked into the system. So when we learn how to harness and channel the systems inside and around us, that's where we can really build the business that we want.
I love that. And you may see me switching from here to there because I have my notes on this screen, and because I had to swing back to my laptop, I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I don't forget that. I can't agree with you more. Okay, so it's almost like we're two peas in a pod here. I would never elevate myself to the knowledge and of what you have and the experience that you have, but I would aspire to one day be at a similar kind of level, because I just enjoy systems and processes. I geek out on that stuff, and I don't know why. For some reason, organization makes me feel good. Getting there, okay. So getting there can be an extreme challenge.
Yes.
With my experience hiring over 1,000 people since 2014, I have learned so much. I wish I would have been this far forward on systems and processes back then, because I can only imagine where I would be now. But that being said, systems and processes, I think, are very unique to your personality, your tone, your voice, how you want things done. And this is my opinion, so please challenge me on anything. But in order to delegate effectively, from my point of view, I need to make sure that when I do delegate something, that the level of expectation, both from me and to whom it is that I'm delegating to, understands what I'm expecting. And so what I like to do is I like to record a video. I like to have them record every time they click the mouse button, step-by-step instructions. And then they schedule a time to review that workflow or that system or that process with me. And we get two things done from that. Number one, I know they understand what the direction was that was given to them. And number two is, if we identify any problems, we can take care of it right then and there during that conversation, instead of somewhere 3, 6, 9, 12 months down the road. This is just my opinion, but I'm wondering, when you start the delegation process, what is it that you do to make it so effective?
That's a great question. So the way you described capturing systems is exactly how we talk to our clients about doing it too, because that also eliminates some of that friction that business owners can feel, that they have to do all that work before they can hand it off, right? It's just, hey, next time you do this, record yourself doing it, hand that off to someone else. They can replicate what they see you doing and then turn that into something more defined, right? And then that can make it happen a lot faster. Another thing we do a lot with clients is talk about communication rhythms, because most of our clients are hiring independent, people who are virtual or distant, right? And they're not necessarily used to, from previously maybe working with a team in a more in-office setting or things like that, the kinds of communication rhythms that need to happen in a virtual setting to keep you on, keeping tabs on each other. So one of the challenges I hear a lot of times from people who've been burned by virtual assistants before is, I had no idea what they were working on. They'd get frustrated if I was following up because they felt like I didn't trust them, but I didn't know what was happening or when things got done. And I just felt completely out of the loop in my own business. And so what we usually recommend is an email rhythm and a call rhythm, once a week call, touching base with each other, understanding what's going on in the business more broadly. What's that person working on? Where are they stuck? All of those things. And then in the email rhythm, depending on how much they're working with that person, either having that virtual assistant email them daily or twice a week to tell them, this is what I've done, this is what I'm doing next, and this is what I need from you, or what questions I have. And it's the simplest thing, but it does so much to really capture for both people what's happening and when things are going to get done, and how the assistant's thinking through the priorities of the things still on their plate to make sure they're on the same page. And you can catch things a lot faster before they, are all of a sudden overdue. And that's where you realize they're not getting done, right? So it's just kind of a basic way to set up from the very beginning to make sure you know what's going on and can communicate effectively and help the assistant keep up with the various things that you're sending their way.
So do you have a document or a form or anything like that you share with somebody to kind of outline what this process is?
That's a great question. So, with clients, not so much. We usually just talk through it. And I do have a template for a email recap that I send to people quite often. It's just, header bullets. Here's all the pieces of the puzzle that you need to make sure you're including, and I'll talk to assistants about how to do that. But it's one of those things where it's more the kind of understanding the purpose of it and the philosophy of it, rather than the thing itself. Even talking to assistants, helping them understand, this is how you do this. This is why this is much more valuable in some ways than the specific tasks you're doing, because now the person you're supporting knows for a fact that you've got it and that you've got them. And that piece in the back of their mind is usually more valuable than you doing a good job writing out to somebody or something like that, right? Like, the tasks matter, but what matters just as much, if not more, is professionalism and the communication of that relationship. So we spend a lot of time just talking through their stance to their clients as assistants, especially if they're kind of new to the space of doing this. But yeah, we will sometimes help them set up a form the client can use to send them specific work. On the communications, we usually just talk it through together.
Gotcha. Okay. It sounded like maybe it was breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's on my end or your end, but it sounded like it was breaking up just a little bit. But I think if I do a little recap, there's not necessarily a form that you have or anything like that, but it's just verbally expressing what the expectations are and going over and kind of this is kind of what's expected. This is what we're doing. This is what I will do for you. This is what you can do for us. This is the result that we're looking for, kind of just agreeing on that journey. Is that a good summation?
Yeah, at a high level, absolutely. I think, I might have misunderstood the question a little bit. For specific tasks, we do sometimes have them fill out a form. So we have a type form for our assistant that we use that just makes sure that we're getting her everything she needs for every task, and that we're defining what the success metrics are and how much time we want her to spend and when what needs to be done and all those things. And it clears out a lot of the friction too.
Gotcha.
It's not like you're having to open up an email and be like, hello, hope you're having a great day. I have a project for you. Let me try to remember all the pieces I need to tell you, right? It's just filling out the form, send it to her. She has everything she needs in one place. She can go back and kind of see the tasks that she's working on through that process, and it makes it easier.
That's really cool. What kind of technology are you using to help with the communication?
So we use Typeform for that, but a lot of times we'll connect people with Google Forms if they don't have Typeform already, just because Google Forms is free. Typeform can be too, but we end up paying for it. We use Slack for our team for communicating. And then a lot of times for our clients, if they don't have a project management software of some kind, we will help them find and set up one of those to make sure that they're tracking tasks together. When you're a sole operator, I always had one because I have a million things in my head and things like that. But a lot of people we're working with, it's on paper, it's in their head, and that doesn't translate very well to bringing in a team and all being on the same page of what's still pending and where things are. So usually project management system, Slack.
Do you have a preference on a project management system?
We tend to connect a lot of our clients with Asana. Partially because it's free, partially because it's very, very easy to use, very low learning curve on both the client and the assistant side. And it also has that communication piece that you can use within it, right? You can communicate with each other within a task, things like that. We personally, as a company, use a tool called Jira, which is created for software developers and is ugly and very terrifying most of the time when you first get in there. It had a couple of functionalities that we wanted that we couldn't find elsewhere, but we don't usually recommend it to other people just because they look at it and just want to run for the hills immediately. So Asana is our easy go-to for most people.
Oh, that's fantastic. I wonder if maybe I can segue a little bit here. I have two things. I'm going to write this down so I don't forget. This just popped into my head. As things typically do. Number one, when is a good time to start planning for delegation? And number two, how do you know what you can delegate?
So when is a good time? So one of my favorite entrepreneurs, Mike Michalowicz, had this phrase that I'm going to borrow from him, which is you cannot hire too soon, but you can hire too fast. So there really isn't a time in your business where it's too soon to hire someone. You could bring on someone from day one and get value from investing in that kind of relationship, and learning how to lead, learning how to share the load of your business with someone else. So it's rare that I talk to someone where it's like, oh, you're not in a place in your business where you should even be thinking about delegating. I do encourage people sometimes, if they're really struggling to figure out what to do, or they're kind of reinventing the wheel with every client and things like that, to take some time to get some of that sorted out first. Because you also don't want to invest in someone else helping you get to a place when you don't know where the place is that you're trying to go. And so if they have a clear idea of, this is what I'm working towards, this is the direction we're headed as a company, this is, the kinds of things that I'm going to be needing support with, that can help a lot. But beyond that, I brought on my first assistant, I think 3 months after I started. And I was really glad that I started that process early, started to learn how to share tasks with someone else, how to take responsibility for that, and how to lead. So that's the win. And then the other question was it what kind of things to delegate? Or
How do you know what to delegate? Yeah, I think that's
Yeah. So one exercise I'll do with my clients a lot is calculating their effective hourly rate, because it's a really natural mindset obstacle that we can run into as entrepreneurs, of thinking that our own time is free. Why pay someone else to do something when I could do it for free? And so the very simple exercise of calculating how much money your time costs can start to shift that structure a little bit. So if you're making, let me see, for simple math, $2,000 a month, and you're working 200 hours, right? You're making $10 an hour at that. Most people, their numbers are a little bit better, right? So you'll end up with maybe a number like 40 or something like that. Once you understand, like, oh, an hour of my time actually is costing the business $40, then you start paying attention to work you're doing that is not $40 an hour work, right? And that can really become an easy way to start paying attention to that. To say, okay, I'm spending an hour loading up stuff into my email marketing tool. Would I pay someone else $40 to do that? Probably not. And then just start making a list. Sometimes this can be even over the course of weeks or a month, just writing down, oh, that's not a $40 an hour task. That's not a $40 an hour task. And then you find yourself with a list of things. And it can also help you identify a little bit where you might maybe want a little bit more of a specialty in an area. If a lot of the things on your list are like, oh, wow, I just really feel deeply miserable every time I do anything on social media, maybe I shouldn't hire a general assistant. Maybe I should hire a social media manager, right? So you can kind of just start to pay attention to areas of your business that, if you got them off your plate, that time would free you up to then do more revenue generating activities, more high value activities, things that are matched for your own, zones of genius, things you're really good at. And anything you do more than once can be a great candidate to give to someone else.
I love that.
So I have a sticky note on my computer that says, always ask, can someone else do this? Right? For anything you have, like, is this something someone else can do? And if the answer is yes, then it should be something someone else does.
That's awesome. It brings a good friend of mine, Scott Beebe. I love this saying. He said, do something as if it's the last time you're ever going to do it.
No.
Absolutely love that. And when you were talking, it made me, so each task that we come up with, we assign 2 values. One, and this helps us understand whether it's something that we can delegate or not. And this is kind of mirroring what you just said. And so what we do, is it something that gives us energy, or does it completely drain us of energy?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then the second one is this something that we must do? Like, we have to have this conversation. I'm not going to delegate this conversation to someone else. Energy. I absolutely love talking to you. But is it something that we must do, or can we delegate this to somebody else? And here's the key, I think, to somebody else that can do it 80% as good as we can or better.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that helps me, because I understand when you bring somebody on to delegate a task, they're not going to know it like me. And it's going to take some time to work with them to bring it up. And my goal is, hopefully, they can tweak the system, make it even better, and do way better than for that particular skill set, right? Because I don't want to spend my time in that zone, but they do. They're really good at it. And so that's been really helpful for us.
Yeah, I love that 80% framework, because then it sets a fair expectation too. To say, you know what, some things are going to come back. They're not going to be the way I would have done it, but that's okay. I can keep moving forward. This is going to be plenty good enough. Also kind of going back to that 80-20 rule, like a lot of times 80% there in 20% of the effort or 20% of the cost is well worth it.
Yeah. So what's next for Ashlee?
That's a good question. So we're really, kind of on this mission to work with a lot of freelancers, turn them into CEOs. That's kind of our new mission for the business. So that's something we're really excited about. I also, as you were talking about in my bio, my first draft manuscript of my book is due on Halloween. So that is the thing for the next 2 weeks that's keeping me up at night a little bit, but it's great. So excited to get that out there and to start to shift the conversation around what systems are and what they mean and how we can use them.
And can you tell us again what the name of the book is?
It's called Eureka Results. It's about how entrepreneurs can take their best ideas and turn them into reality.
I love it. And how did you come up with that?
Oh, that's a good question. With the title or more of the concept of the book?
I guess the title and the concept. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I originally started it as this concept of how to thrive in the messy middle, because one of the biggest things that I've learned in the process of growing a business and supporting my clients is that, so much of the work is happening just kind of like on the ground level, like where the rubber meets the road, the day-to-day stuff, right? And it can be really easy to get pumped up and excited about new ideas and a vision and go to conferences and hear some amazing entrepreneur doing these incredible things and feeling like we can be like that. And then we go home and we find ourselves, spending 2 hours trying to fix something stupid with our website, and then trying to chase down an, unpaid invoice, and just trying to run the business and trying to keep up with everything and trying to survive. And so I wanted to think about, what does it look like, and, kind of exploring what it looks like to in the process, that kind of see the stories of my favorite kind of aspirational entrepreneurs. I can say that we're
I may have lost you there. Can you hear me, Ashlee? Oh, we got you frozen. Oh, we kind of can hear you. You're sort of coming back there. We just lost you there a little bit. Let me see. We'll remove you, and then I'm going to bring you back in. Let's see if we got you now. How's that? Oh, we lost her. That's all right. We were getting ready to wrap up there. I was hoping I could share a little bit of what she's doing. Maybe she'll jump right back in here so that I could say goodbye to her and thank you and give you guys any information. I wanted to share this with you. She's writing a book right now, and it's called Eureka Results: How Entrepreneurs Can Turn Their Best Ideas into Reality. And it's going to be published April of 2021. And here she is. She's back. Are you there?
I am. What's going on? Hopefully
well, it was coming in and out, and it started getting a little cloggy at the end there. And so I was getting about every third or fourth word. And I apologize, doggone it. And it very well could be my internet connection here. I don't know. Maybe when I rewatch it, yours is going to be perfect and mine's going to be frozen.
Moving back and forth and the spinning, I don't know, but we're here. So I appreciate your graciousness.
Yeah, no worries. I was getting ready to wrap because we're at the half-hour mark, and so I didn't know if there's anything else you'd like to say before we wrapped.
I don't think so. I mean, anyone watching, I'm so grateful that you took the time to do that. I'm open anytime for questions. If you just need to talk through everything that you're dealing with or fears you have about hiring your first person, I know.
And shucks, we lost her. I will try and have her back. If you have any questions or insights for Ashlee, please let me know. She's going to try it one more time. Let's see it. Are you there?
Did that whole thing get missed? That whole thing got missed in there.
But you're there.
Yeah, I was just saying, anyone watching, more than happy to help however I can. I know Jamie would say the same. Hiring your first person can be scary, can be intimidating. So any questions, send them our way. We'd be more than happy to help out.
Fantastic. And you can go to asquaredonline.com to learn more about Ashlee, who's the founder and CEO of A Squared Online. And Ashlee, I can't thank you enough. You've been so kind in your time, and we've had a couple good conversations before, and I've just left the conversation of feeling even smarter and more enlightened. It's just what a blessing to be able to get to know you a little bit more, and I'm like a sponge, and I just really appreciate everything that you've done. Congratulations on the journey of your new book. I cannot wait until it comes out. And yeah, I'm super excited. So anything I can do to support you on that or serve you and get on your launch team, whatever it is, you count me in, because I would love to be a part of it.
I'm so grateful for that, Jamie, and grateful for you. It's been just a joy to get to know you and your incredible business too. Love it.
Well, can you hold on one real quick second, and I'll go ahead and wrap up? Okay.
Yep,
oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much to Ashlee Berghoff. She is incredible. Believe me, you will benefit by knowing Ashlee immensely. So if you want to learn more about how to delegate effectively, if you want to learn more about her book, go to A Squared Online. Highly encourage you to do so. And it's just asquaredonline.com. You can also follow her or look her up on LinkedIn. She's on Facebook and good old IG, the Instagram there. So without any further ado, I'll go ahead and wrap up today. I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you have any questions or you're watching this in a replay, go ahead and ask away, and I will make sure to go ahead and forward your questions to Ashlee so that she can answer them for you. So anything I can do in addition to that, please let me know and reach out. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember one thing, create your own ripple. Thanks so much.